Also, I think there is some speculation. People see these stocks that are way down and they're like, hey, let me play a bounce. Maybe, hey, Bitcoin was 70,000 and it went to 16,000. Maybe it'll go to 25, 30,000. That's a pretty good return. Let me get in there. And, so I think you got some speculative money that came in there. But I think everybody that bought the losers from 2022, they're going to lose again in 2023.
In today's video, Euro Pacific Asset Management's co-founder, Peter Schiff, shares his insights on various topics, including gold and Bitcoin. Peter Schiff, an economist and prominent gold bug, a precious metals dealer specializing in gold and silver bullion, has offered his perspective on the recent surge in value of both Bitcoin and gold. Before going further in this video, make sure to hit the subscribe button for more recent updates about digital assets. Despite his past criticism of Bitcoin and staunch support of gold, Schiff has noted that both assets have been on the rise this year. According to Schiff, gold is rising as a hedge against inflation and a weaker dollar, while Bitcoin is rising with other high-risk assets as speculators bet that a Fed pivot will cause a rally in 2022's biggest losers. During Schiff's conversation with Pompliano, he said Bitcoin experienced a significant downturn in 2022 and may potentially face an even worse situation in the future. Let's move towards the video.
Bitcoin can go up or down for any reason, right? I just don't see the correlation that gold has to the dollar in Bitcoin. If you look at the trading, most days, if you see the dollar is up, gold will be down and vice versa. That's not necessarily the case with Bitcoin. Bitcoin, to me, is more correlated with, Cathie Wood, ARK Innovation, with those type of stocks. That's where I see a strong correlation, not to a currency market or the precious metals market, but to other high-risk assets. Now, can some people, like you, for example, you may react to a weak dollar by buying Bitcoin because you think Bitcoin is some kind of digital gold and an alternative to gold, and so you want to buy it as an inflation hedge. And you're probably not alone. There are some other people that might do the same thing. I just don't think there's enough of you out there. And I think most of you who think that way already have most of their money in Bitcoin. I don't think they've got a lot of dry powder right now to buy more Bitcoin. But I also think there's a lot of money still in Bitcoin that wants out. You got to remember that. There's a lot of people that got into it because they thought they were going to make a quick buck, and now they're kind of stuck and they're looking for any kind of strength to get out. You always have the wild card of the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust. What's going to happen to that? What if they end up having to liquidate all their Bitcoin? What if all that Bitcoin that's lopped up in that trust ends up having to go onto the market? Who's going to buy that? So there's a lot of wild cards out there. And then you have all these companies that are bankrupt and, may have to be selling their crypto assets. How much leverage is still in the system? There's so many potential, bombs that could explode in the crypto space. So I wouldn't look at it as like a safe haven or store of value. It's just so much risk compared to just buying gold, which doesn't have any of those risks.
This was not the first time that Schiff has voiced his concerns about the American economy. Towards the end of the previous year, he had predicted a significant escalation in inflation and projected that the U.S. dollar would experience one of its toughest years in history. According to Schiff, 2023 could be one of the worst years for the dollar, with the potential to significantly weaken the currency. He also made a prediction that 2024 could be even more challenging for the dollar. According to Schiff, the value of the dollar experienced a significant decline during the fourth quarter of the previous year, and this trend is expected to continue throughout 2023. As a result, there is a potential for the trade deficit to worsen, and this could also contribute to an increase in inflation rates. Schiff likes value stocks for the future, adding that investors should look for companies that have big earnings now, reliable income, and sell goods and services that people buy.
I think the reason I did really well, and the reason we were able to make up for years of underperformance to get so highly ranked, was because of the types of stocks that we own and the sectors that we overweight. And it's value, it's dividend paying stocks. It's, we avoided a lot of the tech stocks and the financials that really blew up in 2022. And I had avoided them for years because I knew they would eventually blow up, and I don't think they're finished blowing up. And so I think that those trends that were in place last year are going to accelerate. They've had a reversal in January. Those two funds are lagging. they're up. They're up so far this year. But they're not up as much as the benchmarks because the benchmarks still have all these overpriced crap stocks that bounced. But as this reverses, I think these strategies are going to thrive once again. And I think that they'll do even better this year because I believe instead of going up 10%, the dollar is going to get killed in 2023. I think this could be one of the worst years the dollar's ever had. Of course, 2024 could be even worse. But I think we're going to start to see the dollar going down. And that's going to be a big headwind for any of the non-dollar international strategies.
As the dynamics change, a lot of people are going to realize they're holding the wrong assets. Schiff said when the bubble bursts, there are going to be big losses. High-growth companies and cryptocurrencies could be the biggest losers, according to Schiff. Gold is the king of all commodities, Schiff added, saying it will do very well in a commodity bull market. In his previous tweet, Schiff blames the Bitcoin rally for the lack of attention on his favorite malleable metal. As the financial media is distracted by the sucker's rally taking place in fool's gold, it's paying no attention to the real rally going on in actual gold. While Bitcoin has rebounded to $23,000 since then, Schiff and other noteworthy investors remain skeptical of the entire crypto industry. Now let's take a look into the video to listen to some informational updates.
You don't measure a store of value based on price because you can't store a price. And that's an important distinction that everybody misses. Bitcoin has a price. And that price is determined every day by the supply and demand. I mean, you can see the price, it's trading. It doesn't have any value. You don't need to have value to have a price because people could value anything, right? Value is totally different. And so what is the value of gold? Apart from its price, what is the value of that metal, right? Well, it's all of the things that gold can be used for which there really are no substitutes if you really want the quality or the effect, whether it's making jewelry or conducting electricity or wherever the applications are, there is a value for gold. Now, there's going to end up being a price, assigned to that that's going to change, but there is value there. And when you're storing gold, you're storing that value, the metal itself and all the things that you could do with the metal. Bitcoin doesn't have any use other than the fact that I can buy it and sell it. But apart from that, in and of itself, there's absolutely nothing you can do with it. You can't make anything out of it. It doesn't matter how many you have. If I have 100 ounces of gold, I can make 100 times the amount of jewelry as if I had 1 ounce of gold. If I have 100 Bitcoins, I can't do anything more than if I only had one, or if I just had one Satoshi, which is why I don't even think the 21 million Bitcoin is relevant. It's the 2.1 quadrillion Satoshis that you need to look at because there's no difference. I mean, so you're really buying a bunch of Satoshis and there's a whole bunch of them out there, because all Bitcoin is an arbitrary bundle of Satoshis that, doesn't, and again, it doesn't matter how many you have, you still can't do anything with it. So Bitcoin doesn't have value. And so you can't store what you don't have. You can't store a price because price is purely dependent on supply and demand. And so will there be demand for Bitcoin in the future? I don't know. I mean, I know there's going to be supply, right? We know that the supply is there. We don't know if there's going to be demand. And I think that most of the demand for Bitcoin has come from people who thought they would get rich buying it. I mean, the price is around 22,000. Whereas last year it almost hit 70,000. The reason it's had a big bounce in January is because it got destroyed in 2022. It's one of the worst years it's ever had. Certainly in terms of market cap, it has to be the worst year it's ever had as far as how much market cap was lost during a calendar year. So we had a big drop. The ride to zero is not going to be in a straight line. I mean, there's going to be plenty of bear market rallies. And we've seen a bear market rally in Bitcoin, a big bear market rally in all of the crypto-related stocks that were down 80, 90% last year. They rallied too really big.
Considering the inherent volatility of the cryptocurrency market, it is prudent to acknowledge that this form of investment may not be suitable for all individuals. Despite the immense popularity that cryptocurrencies have garnered in recent years, their value can fluctuate considerably, with prices potentially decreasing as well as increasing. Both gold and Bitcoin have their own advantages and disadvantages, and investors may have different preferences depending on their investment goals and risk tolerance. What are your thoughts about Peter Schiff's preference of gold over Bitcoin? Let us know in the comments section below. If you found this content useful, please consider liking this video and subscribe to our channel. See you with another update.